Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. How you doing? Good morning. The delegate that wants you to call me in before you call me out. Right? Because that's how we do business with each other. It's been a long week. Um, we are halfway through. Halfway we are halfway through August. And I know you got good stuff. I know that y'all have done some good stuff. So if you got some good stuff, that what are you proud of? We are always almost halfway through the year. If you have something that you're proud of, that you got coming up that you want us to share, drop it in the comments so that I can share your good work with the good doers and maybe they can connect the dots. Good morning, Miss House. Good morning. I think it's Dr. Taj. I don't know if it's you, but the Humanization Project. So since they're here, I'm going to talk about y'all too, since y'all hopped on. If you see, so those of you who are on all the other platforms won't be able to see because Instagram doesn't necessarily link over and show, but you got Miss Jan House who joined us first this morning, first in here. Uh, she runs SAG, Seniors Aging Gracefully, a program that convenes, educates our pillars. Look, educates, advocates, and celebrates aging, right? Like you should still be able to have a great time and does it with love, with joy. Let's thank her. So if y'all see SAG, Seniors Aging Gracefully, y'all need to go join her page, the Humanization Project, second on this morning. Okay, good work, just keeping families connected, keeping the issues of our neighbors who have been incarcerated and formerly incarcerated at the forefront. Dr. Taj and his crew, such an amazing group of people that help us have, at least for me as the legislator, have the best understanding that I can about the conditions and what families are going through and what kind of legislation we need to be looking at. That's the kind of, if you all want to sort of transfer over into that world of influencing, it just take your thing. I want to say that out loud because I think I sometimes hear people say like, I don't know how to be a part of this. No. What's your thing? Be brilliant on your thing right this morning. But we've got, speaking of being brilliant on things, I'm going to give y'all a couple things that we have coming up. And then I'm going to talk school. It's back to school time, y'all. In Norfolk, the little citizens will be going back next week. So I got a question for you. I got a real question for you. Tell me this. Do you remember in high school, and some of y'all got to go way back. You're going to have time to think about it in between me telling you the upcoming events we got going on. Do you remember who your guidance counselor was? Or do you remember their name? All right. Do you remember your guidance counselor in high school? Do you remember their name? Or do you remember what you dreamed of or just your GPA? Yeah. And tell me that, right? Like, tell me this. Keep that in the back of mind because that's going to flow into a call to responsibility, a community call to responsibility as our little citizens go back to school. So here's what we got going on. Next week, Lindsay, I want you to see, can you drop in the comments the Small Business Power Alliance date? I want to make sure that, I think that's you, Lindsay. I think you're doing it from your regular account now. So next week, Tuesday, every other Tuesday, we will be starting back up Live and Unfiltered. So a couple months back when I got out of session, I started this thing called Live and Unfiltered with the delegate, where it's like, y'all ever seen those like call-in shows where people can call in and sort of take people's information? It's the same thing online, but like I will give you the link to hop in the video during the conversation. I will give you the link to hop in the video during the conversation. So Live and Unfiltered is going to start next week. We're going to do it late night from about 8 to 9 o'clock. I've got certain issues that I'm talking about. Next week, we're specifically going to talk about the whole and the corruption, the whole, and I don't want to say corruption, but the democratic hole that we have in Norfolk and how we keep losing. We keep losing. And that's talking about why we have elected folks in our city that only got 33% of the vote. right? How is that possible? How is that possible? But it is. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about how we fix it. So we're going to get down and dirty on specific issues every other Tuesday. It's live and unfiltered. Dial in with the delegate. You can listen in. You can come with an opinion. It'll be like a live radio show. Yes. Okay. Got it. That's coming up. That's coming up. That's coming up. That is one of the biggest things. I will always ask, if you feel like we do good work, please don't hesitate to go to our website, contribute. I am working really hard. I've made some hard decisions this year, which put me in a position where I got a phone rate, so people leave me alone. So there's that. If you are a person who wants to see more women running for office, I have an event coming on Sunday. Please message me. I will send the link. It's for an organization called Emerge. Emerge prepares women to run for office. So it's a high tea fundraiser on Sunday around 2:00. If you're around, just message me. I'll send you a link. I would love to see you there. I need to see you there. We've got so much work to do. Okay. And I'll roll that back again. All right. So here we go. When I first started, and I love that some of y'all put it in the chat already, I said, who was your guidance counselor in high school? Do you remember their name? Did they know your dreams, fears, or just your GPA and your schedule? Did you know your dreams, fears, or just your GPA, your schedule? And tell me, like, from high school, do you remember your GPA? Do you remember your counselor? Drop it in the comments. This is important. This is so important, this conversation that we're going to have today, because I'm in the thick of it. Let me say this. Yesterday was the first time that I woke up and I had that anxious feeling in my chest. Because I know that my little citizens are going back to school, right? I've got a daughter that is going to high school for the first year. I've got a son that is going to his second year of college, and I cannot remember the last time preparing them for school I was like excited, because of school shootings, because of all of the things, right? I can't remember. But I do remember a week prior just being excited, like being able to sit with that excitement and being just like happy for them getting ready to go back to school, because I want them to follow their dreams. But I know that I tell them, anything worth having, you got to work at it, right? We all know that anything that's worth having, you got to work at it. So I know that we are co-parenting. If you've got nieces, if you got nephews, if you got cousins, if you got brothers, if you got grandbabies, if you've got your own little citizens that are getting ready to go to school, those folks are co-parenting with us. Now, I, as a high schooler, I don't remember my counselor. I don't know my GPA. I was those kids that were in the middle doing amazingly great. So everybody thought I already had it together, which I was struggling. I tried to get it together, but it was hard. It was hard to even at the end, because I was doing such a great job in school. So I'm wondering, like, I'm super curious who knows their counselors. Thank you, Lindsay, for putting Thursday the 28th, Amazing Soleil. We're going to have our next to the catnip confay. If you're a small business owner, you need to be there. Mark your calendar, August 28th, right? Mark your calendar, August 28th, 6 to 8. Okay, so David James says you went to Votech. Tell me what you went to Votech for, because I got an exciting story about that. Tell me what you went to Votech for. Lindsay said she went to Kellum High School of Virginia Beach. Mr. Beecham, yes, he knew my GPA, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. That's beautiful. Jan House said 3.0 because of because of prayers. 3.0 because of prayer. I love this. And the Humanization Project says, I don't remember my guidance counselor. Do you think that your guidance counselor would have made a difference? Like, do you think that they would have made a difference, knowing, or did they? I'd love to know. Did your guidance counselor make a difference? Or do you feel like if you had a little bit more guidance, it would have made a difference. Drop that in the comments for me. You can just put a thumbs up, thumbs down, yes, no, whatever feels right for you. While I do that, I'm going to continue my story. So I am getting ready for my baby to go to high school. And unlike my oldest child, y'all, this girl knows what she wants. And that's odd. That is not odd, but it is a culmination of many things of just the nature of who she is. She says, I'm going to get my associates in high school. I'm going to go to Votech to do auto mechanic, and then I'll figure it out from there. But those two things I know, right? What I learned, this is from Kelly. This is Kelly from, hey Kelly for Humanization Project. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, you don't remember your guidance counselor. This is real. Here's what I ran into, and I'm telling you, as a parent and an advocate, the unfortunate thing in trying to get her what she want from her school was that they really wanted her to focus on her GPA. They were like, you can take these classes and you can boost your GPA, or you could take this AP class and it'll do this for you. And she's like, absolutely not. To me, I want to get my associates while I'm in high school, and I want to go to Votech. I still, David, want to know what you went to Votech for, right? Absolutely not. Firm. Still coming back. First of all, I feel for our guidance counselors right now, because guess what? They start school a week before school starts, and they have to get all those schedules together. I don't know if they want to be year-round employees, but I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Guiding kid, like it's a lot of work. So it was really weird to me that was the thing. Yep. So here was what was frustrating, is that if she was not as strong-willed as she is, if she was not so focused, y'all, this kid would have been taking an AP class miserable, or been doing, ROTC and compromising the other things that she wants to do after school. I think about the back and forth, the many emails that it took. It was about 4 or 5 back and forth, 2 phone calls to get this right for next week. And she's getting stressed. I had to stand in the gap while also allowing her advocate for herself. How many kids don't have people to help them stand in the gap, to guide them, right? That is how I got into politics, y'all. That is why I started an organization called Mamas on the Block, where we don't want any parent going to school by themselves. Our little citizens need us. They need, I'm just saying this right now. Some of y'all have teenagers walking up the block. Some of y'all have kids, listen to them, hear them out. I'm going to the comments. David James says, I was in the greenhouse program growing pansy poinsettias, but I ended up dropping out. I made my high school years very difficult. Wow. Have y'all ever heard of a greenhouse program? I've never heard of that. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay, Kelly, she went to Salem High. Lindsay says, I felt like he did the best, but I think I could have had better guidance. Yeah. Jan says, no, was not inclusive in mentoring all students, only the popular kids, and boom. So Miss Jan, you hit on something. So I'm in a situation where I'm like, my son and daughter had the same guidance counselor. And I know the issue I went through with my son about why is he not taking these classes? And I'm asking him, because he is more like, get out of my way. Let me advocate for myself. He don't want me involved. So I try to prepare him. He almost didn't graduate. And I told him, I said, you have too many electives. He was dual enrolled for the early childhood development program at TCC. At TCC. And he almost didn't graduate because he didn't have the right classes. He was missing mandatory classes, and we didn't find out until the Friday before he was to start his senior year. So my boy ended up having to take night school to take a class. So he rode his bike from Ballantyne to Granby every Tuesday and Thursday night, right? So that compromised what he was able to do after school and then had to pick up an extra class. Now he still left as a paraprofessional, but why that added stress your senior year when he walked into high school with 6 credits? 6 high school credits. There's no way we should be in that situation. And again, I'm not blaming. I am saying, yo, they need us to help because there's a lot of confusion. And you tell me, what do you think we're doing in today's society? Do you think we're pushing college? Do you think we're pushing VOTEC? Like, what is society pushing? Because there's so much. And to your point, my son told me, he's like, Mom, of course you're gonna have problems with the counselor. If you're not on a sports team, if you're not on a sports team, that they are more interested. The particular counselor, he'll help you out if you're on a sports team. And I said, that is wild to think that. That is absolutely beyond me. I absolutely beyond me. David James says, kind of why I back more diversity in education, that program. Not all kids are the same, but we're trying to stuff them in the same educational box. I so agree with you. Lindsay says, I was in the governor's school. I wish I was told a gap year is okay. There was too much pressure to go straight to university. I hear you. Kelly says to Jan, I only saw my guidance counselor when I was in trouble and needed to rearrange my schedule or other things to graduate. Just imagine, I don't remember my high school guidance counselor, but I remember my middle school guidance counselor. And let me tell you why. Miss Scott, when I was in middle school, she took time with us. She talked to us, and this was an elder Black woman in a predominantly white school because we moved to the suburbs. This is that same neighborhood. I think I've told the story several times that we became unhoused, not because we couldn't afford it, but because we had a swastika painted on our house. My mom got us up out of there. So like we ain't really had nowhere to go. It was a whole thing, but it was this one Black lady, Miss Scott. And I think it's Miss Scott. I just know her face. But I remember before I left middle school, this woman wrote me a letter, wrote me almost like a letter of recommendation. And she said, you don't understand this now, but this letter can help you later. And I think about my job of I'm asking every high school, every kid, tell me if you need a letter of recommendation. This woman knew and was explaining to me, you're a good kid. You can do great things. You're already doing great things. Here's what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And that was the magic question of what is it that you want to do? And it's okay to say, I don't know. What's piquing your interest right now? We don't have that. Like I said, the guidance counselors are starting a week before the kids. And my daughter had to fight. Now, I'll say if you are in the Hampton Roads area, and I know that everybody is not in the Hampton Roads area, here is a little known secret. And it's not a secret because some school systems are taking advantage of it. As a delegate, I've had the opportunity to talk to community colleges a lot. And in our community college system here is TCC, Tidewater Community College. And I've talked to some of the people that teach there. I've talked to people in administration, and they said, the issue is that right now we've got kids coming into community college that can't really read. It's becoming like we're teaching the things from high school and community college, blah, 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 blah. This is real. This is what's happening. This is their reality. Okay. And so what the high schools have done is there's an agreement for dual enrollment. There was legislation a couple of years ago that said that we're going to offer dual enrollment. And if a child, you can start dual enrollment your freshman year, they recommended your junior and senior year. If you want to start your freshman year, then all you have to do is have either a guidance counselor or a principal sign off on it. When I went to the school to help my daughter get dual enrolled, they were like, she cannot do that off top. She's not a junior. She's not a senior. She cannot do that. And I said, okay, no, what it says is that she can. And I felt like I did not have dignity in advocating for her. Like I shouldn't be. Like, how dare I advocate for her in that way? And how dare I support her? And it was her strength that helped me fall back, to step back and step up by stepping back. And allowing her to calm me. And so I talked to TCC and they said, the woman, and I'm going to shout her out because she did such an amazing job. Her name is Miss Flowers. So if anybody knows the dual enrollment lady over there at TCC, Miss Flowers, she gets on the phone with me. She's very calm. She is a guidance counselor, right? She's very calm. She says, okay, that's great. If she wants to start, I just can't seem people get Norfolk Public Schools to buy in on this. If she does this, she's going to have to do it with a cohort in Portsmouth. And especially, and she was excited about her starting as a freshman, especially if she starts as a freshman, I'm 100% sure that we could get her, she can have her associates by the time she graduates high school. Y'all, when we are in an economic challenge right now, and people are looking for ways to save money, if she gets her associates in high school, that saves up 2 years of you paying for university. If that is not helping generationally people get ahead, should they choose a path? Like, again, she wants to do auto mechanics, but the fact that the immediate response was no, and that she is like, hey, if you tell me 4 or 5 more people, if you tell me 4 or 5 more kids in Norfolk Public Schools, I can build a cohort, or else I'll just put her with the Portsmouth cohort. So I'm saying this to y'all. If y'all know any freshmen, right? Or sophomores that feel like that maybe during high school, because remember what I said is happening at community college. Community college is becoming an extension of high school because of where the educational systems have taken us, that there is an opportunity for them to graduate with their associates and that they are capable. And this woman said, I can sit right by her side and we can get this done. It would almost like it would be an honor and a pleasure for her. That is guidance. That made me feel like this is somebody that I need my daughter to be connected to. It's an opportunity. And sometimes we have to know them to be able to share them. So I'm saying that out loud to you, that if you want to connect with my office, whatever you need to do, we need each other. I think about the role of grandparents, and I'm going to go to the comments in the section. When you're raising kids, right? When you're raising, and some of y'all know you've raised your kids or you're in the midst of it, there are so many gaps. There's so many things that just don't happen or I'm not present for. And it pains me, but I'm now at the point in my life where I'm thinking about if my children decide to become parents, here is how I know I will be supportive so that they could just be parents because they can't do it all, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me go to the comments. Stephanie, hey, she says the best guidance counselor I had was during the end of my high school journey. I was sent to juvenile delinquency type school. Being a parent, a pregnant teenager in Texas, my counselor showed up for me daily. I love that. Stephanie, I love that. I love that. Listen, because you were sent, you were considered a delinquent, and it took somebody saying, let me show up for, I love that for you. Lady Sunshine says, educational gap from COVID is real. I love this idea of the cohort. Yeah, I want to do the cohort. I don't want Sahara to do it by herself. Yes. And Nathan, we can help get the word out from our side. Yeah, do it. It's the dual enrollment program. They are capable. I am telling you, I'm starting my daughter off with the college success class. It's a 1 credit class her first year, this semester. I believe what I was told from Miss Flowers, who is over at TCC, that the cohort to start their associates doesn't start until January. So getting them prepared, she is happy to help. Like I said, think about the dollars and cents for those who want to go to university, right? Taking 2 years off. And if there's a cost, I think it ends up at $25 a credit. I'm telling you, I will fundraise that money. If a child wants to go into CTC for $25 a credit, we will fundraise that money to make sure that child can go. We're not going to let finance being a barrier. Finances be a barrier for anyone. So my call to responsibility is to understand that we should know and think about it. I think about the help that I could have. The guidance counselors are not just paper pushers. They are architects of opportunity for sometimes our kids. And remember, we are co-parenting right now. But the reality, at least here in Virginia, is that some counselors are responsible for hundreds of students. And without I think that's impossible without support. And that is where we as a community come in. Parents, caregivers, mentors, coaches, faith leaders, neighbors, we all come in. We have to understand that the system has enough gaps, as Sunshine Lady just said, enough enough to spot the gaps, and we have to be able to spot the gaps and ask the questions before it's too late. I am saying this right now. We should take dual enrollment very seriously. I am. And if it has to go back to again, how I ended up in office was this damn homework house, right? All 13 kids coming over to my house after school and then finding out what's going on in the schools. If I got to recreate the college cohort homework house, then we do it. I'm here for it. I will open up my space for that. I'm saying this. That's college credit while you're in high school. Sometimes for free. We will take care of it. It is a cost savings of thousands of dollars and sometimes just years in time. I think Lindsay mentioned earlier, like, I didn't know I could take a gap year. You should be 2 years out ahead, right? They'll be 2 years out ahead. So if they need that space, that's fine. But the catch is that if nobody tells you about opportunity, you and I both know, if nobody tells you about opportunity, you miss the window. And that's us as adults, is why we have to be a community and share information with each other. So if you don't ask what's the deadline, if you don't ask which classes to transfer to, or how these credits fit in your child's goals, these sorts of things may slip past you. I use Parent View faithfully, right? I'm looking and just trying to match up credits. But I don't want us to put ourselves in a place where a missed conversation today can cost a student years tomorrow. I know that opportunity isn't given. It asks for, it is fought for, and it is followed through, just like democracy, right? Like, this is where we're at. And the most dangerous thing in a young person's life is an adult who doesn't show up. I feel that. And I know that this summer I've had 2 young people show up on my doorstep that were kids on the block, and a mom. 2 young people that I just can't believe graduated. One's off to the Merchant Seamans, and just the pride that I have in looking at the kids on the block that are doing. That's our responsibility. That's your responsibility at church. That is your responsibility at that after school program. We got to own something. We're expecting them to own so much. Okay. I'm asking you, I'm genuinely asking. So my call to action is, hey, you got kids, you got little citizens in your space and place. Ask them who their counselor is, right? Try to learn their names. If you have to do what we had to do here, like the Mamas on the Block was that thing where I just didn't want anybody going to a IEP meeting by themselves. I'm like, no, mom, no, I'm knocking doors and I'm hearing these women say they got the same issues, and even dads, right? Like, I had a dad that would call. I had a dad in the community. He was a single dad, and called me when his daughter started her period. Called me when she had trouble at school. Like, you need to come over here and talk to her. Called me and was like, look, her cleanliness, like, you need to talk to her about lady cleanliness, because, like, okay, I'm happy to be that mom. I'm happy to be that person, right? I know that the work that I put in my little citizens is the work of the adults that are around them. That is, I did more work of being intentional about the adults around them than anything else, because somebody else can talk to them. I'm going to ask you to ask, like, your little citizens around you to make appointment with their counselor before there's a crisis. We'll figure it out. Ask about dual enrollment. Ask about certifications or Norfolk Technical. As I said, my son graduated high school with a paraprofessional certificate from TCC for early childhood education, and loves it. And every time he comes home, he ended up taking a job at the YMCA working. And this year he took another job with the summer camp. He told me, Mom, I enjoy being an adult, but I don't like working with adults. He's like, I don't even like kids, but I prefer them over adults. That's what he said to me. So, like, what do they want to feed into? And also, like, share what you learn, share your experience, right? Talk about you're going to be being a juvenile delinquent. I try to tell my husband was in juvie for 2 years of his high school. And that is the only way. It still had an encourageable personality, but he said part of what got him on the straight and narrow was the counselor that took them out in the wilderness. They made them go out in the wilderness. And I say, talk to the kids about that. Talk to them about, I'm trying to think of who else was mentioned, their guidance counselor. Miss Dotson, right? Talk to the kids about Miss Dotson and how important she was in your life. Just we have to humanize ourselves for them because it's necessary. We can't outsource advocacy for our kids' future if we care about our cities. I do look at education as a form of economic development. People choose where they put their businesses. They choose where they're going to live because of schools oftentimes, and the fortunate and unfortunate thing is that in this work that we're talking about here, we've got to talk to these counselors, like build these relationships. The counselors are the bridge. They are the builders who make sure that bridge connects to somewhere else worth going. So when I have opportunities, and I'm about to spit another opportunity to y'all, not just dual enrollment, we have this thing called the PAGE program, PAGE, PAGE program for 13 and 14-year-olds, where they come to the Capitol with us at the top of the year and they work just like we do Monday through Friday, but they still have to go to school. They get paid. And next year is a long session, right? It's an even year. So we're building a new budget. We have a biannual budget in the Virginia General Assembly. So we'll be building a new budget. So it is a long year, right? It is a long year. They make like $5,000. Everything's paid for. The only thing you got to do is make sure they got transportation to the Capitol and back on the weekends. And sometimes I would drive my PAGE back home with me because we went to the same place. Ain't no sense of her parents wasting that gas, right? So that is live. If you go to the Virginia General Assembly page or just Google House page or contact my office, I will send it to you. They have to get a letter of recommendation. I am only allowed to recommend 3 pages. I'm only allowed to do 3 recommendations. And I try to just do 1 or 2 because sometimes 2 is necessary. So I am saying this. We have to connect these kids to the opportunities that fit their vision. We have to ask, we have to listen and see what their interest is. I just imagine, y'all. Let me go here. Sunshine Lady says, which is a pre-educator level 2 in my district salary wise. Oh, as a paraprofessional. Yeah. A para-educator. Yep. Kay Willie, hey, he says, if you're experiencing IEPs, please don't let friends and family go to 504 meetings alone. Yeah, I learned that the hard way because I was finding out that is how I ended up in office. Is like, I was like, hell to the no. Nobody goes to a meeting by themselves. And I had to sign a paper to be able to show up to the IEP meeting. And the parent had to sign off and say it was okay for me to be in that meeting. And Nathan, you're absolutely right. If we think about this, I know you're talking about dual enrollment. It is economic mobility. It is offsetting 2 years of college. I'm with you. Sunshine Lady says, especially if you're foster parents. The thing I noticed, the difference I noticed when I showed up, especially when I was going to IEP and 504 meetings in Virginia Beach, when you walk in the room, and I wasn't elected or nothing, so it's not like Delegate Glass was walking out. This is just community member Miss Jackie walking in the room with this parent. People were like, what? Like, this kid is supported by a community. Like, stop. Full stop. It was, I think the most moms I've ever taken to an IEP meeting was 2 other moms outside of the mom for the kid. And it's like, no, we are all here because we are all showing up for this child and we are all working and we want to work with you. Are you planning on do that? It's less tense, less abrasive, and I've been in meetings where there were kids unenrolling from school to go to homeschool or to choose to get their GED and sat in there and the people were like, what? Like, yes, we are here to support this child's decision because a community stands with and by the child. And it is hard. I had my oldest stayed in trouble. Okay. Not for like just stayed. He kept me at the school. Do you hear me? He kept me at the school, and I was so exhausted with him. I remember one day his dad was on deployment. And he got in trouble Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I went up to that school on Friday because I was still active duty, and I just sat in the room with him and I just cried. I just cried. All I can do was cry and say, like, I don't know how to help you because you're not helping. I would have loved to have some. So like foster parents and military parents sometimes that are here and don't have people, like we got to get to know our neighbors. This is how we combat all this other ish that's going on, is getting to know our neighbors. Sunshine Lady says, Miss Wyckoff knew I was going to be an educator. I hated it back then. She put me in the ESP program. I don't know what the ESP program, to me, ESP means extra special powers, because my mama used to say, you think I got ESP? I used to say ESPN. Yes, it's on channel. She was my 6th grade teacher. Rest in peace. Yeah. David James Glass says August, and I'm already getting excited about the 2. Yeah. Hey, get excited. We're getting ready to go back. I feel like we're already there. Great info. Good. Yes, when you foster 20 kids, you went to every meeting, you got to, and you need support. Even though you got it, we need to be able to support you. Sunshine Lady says, I'm a special education teacher that will call you overseas to attend by phone. And yes, I've called Mexico once. I feel you. You got it. We got this, right? We got this. I'm going to end on this because I've already went over time. I just want you to imagine if every little citizen had at least one adult who knew the deadlines, right? Who knew what was going on. Just one adult in the community. It's enough of us who knew the deadlines, who knew the requirements and the dreams that they had. Just one adult. I'm not saying it has to be the parents, y'all, because listen, parenting is really hard. So just imagine too, if we treated guidance not just as a job title, but as a community responsibility, right? If you and I decided that guidance is not just something they do at school, it is our responsibility as a community. Just imagine if we did that. I'd like to think that we'd be in a better place. And so I'll ask you again, right? Who was your counselor? Who was it? And today, who are you choosing to counsel? Okay. All right. Like Michael Jackson said, make that change. And I'm talking to the woman or man or person across the screen, right? Like, okay. Dual enrollment, don't forget it. Next Tuesday, y'all need to come to Live and Unfiltered. If you've ever been on, it's like Morning Dew, but you can actually hop in on the conversation. That's next Tuesday night. Do not forget the Small Business Power Alliance on the 28th of this month. 28th at 6 p.m. Location is Amazing Soleil, right next to Catnip Cafe on Colley Avenue. I think the best of you. I think the world of you. I appreciate you. Please share this information because we're certified doers. And doers get more done. I am rescheduling virtual summer school. It was supposed to be tonight. I'm rescheduling it because life, right? Because I had to make that decision. Certified doer merch. We got our certified doer merch that we'll be having. We've got t-shirts, we've got hats, we've got socks, we've got whistles. So if you're a doer that wants all of that good stuff, be on standby. Save your ducats. All right. So with that, I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates in 93rd District. Honored to serve. Honored to be here. Grateful. Call me in before you call me out. We are doers because doers get more done. Don't sue me, Home Depot. Okay. Be well, y'all. Be well. My ears, eyes, and heart open. If you got anything going on, let me know. Okay. Take care.